Audio check 1 2 3. Audio check. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing channel. We're here for the final round of the season for the Clio Cup Season 11 here on Project Cars 2 on the PlayStation 4 and 5. And we've got a championship decider on our hands. Currently, the leader coming into this final round, the final two races, Mike Gaming, has got a 29 point in the championship over this man here, John Boy, who'll be starting this sprint race from 8th place. But obviously 102 points left on the table, so, you know, 29 points isn't too bad. But what's going to happen here? We're about to go lights out for the first of two races here tonight, and it is lights out. Away we go. And Jay on the front row, sorry, alongside Mike, got a much better start, and he's already up into the lead, coming up towards turn one. Ryan also got a decent one, and he's looking into the inside here on Mike. Can Mike keep it around the outside? No, Ryan is up the inside, up into second place. So Mike losing out 2 places there at the start of this race. Looking down the order, whereabouts is John Boy at the moment? He's running in 7th. He's made up 1 place as he's going side by side with Smokey Devil out onto the back straight. Oh, somebody's around in the background. Paul Hooper Rex has lost it there, and he's down well down to the back of the pack. But Jay leading ahead of Ryan, coming down towards the Parabolica for the first time. You currently got Mike there, still sticking to the back of these guys at the moment. John Boy's made up that place on Smokey Devil as into the Parabolica they come. It's Jay from Ryan from Mike, Cobb in 4th place, and John Boy has made up a couple of more places here, and he's got ahead of both Charlie and Matt Darves up into 5th place. So John Boy with an electric start to this race, 3 places gained on the first lap. He's now only 2 places behind his championship rival Mike Gaming, who's currently locked horns here with Jay and Ryan, but he's got the run on both of them here, and Mike Gaming takes the lead coming over the start finish line. Ryan in the background just behind these guys, looking to the inside, a little bit too far back coming into turn 1. But Mike Gaming, your leader at the moment, ahead of Jay. Ryan right there, as we can see a couple of position changes going on. What's happened here? Smokey Devil has lost a few places, as we can see lots of cars in a very short proximity there, as we saw Raids Faders had to get out of it a little bit there, coming out onto the back straight. Keeps it together though. It's Mike from Jay from Ryan, the top 3. Cobb is keeping just about with him at the moment, and John Boy is just within 2 seconds of these guys at this point. But if they start battling, then that will bring John Boy into this battle. If they start working together, well, John Boy can kiss goodbye to his hopes of a win, but I'm pretty sure at this early stage in the race, they're not really going to be working together. They're just going to be going for track position a little bit, jostling around, trying to just figure each other out, because ultimately you want to know exactly what the guys around you are going to be doing on that last lap. And this is obviously the practice runs. This is all about the slipstream here at Monza Short. It's about being there, keeping yourself in the hunt until the last lap. So it's just about surviving essentially, and making sure you don't make mistakes, as we can see a couple more changes going at the front. And what's happened here? Oh, Jay is rounded in the wall. Did he have a collision there with Mike? And Jay is well down to the back pretty much. He's down to 9th place, so Jay has dropped off of that lead battle. Cobb, I think, also got caught up in that. I think it was Cobb and Jay who had a bit of an incident, and John Boy is well off for them as well. So John Boy is now running down in P5, and let's hope that John Boy hasn't got damage here, because he really needs to get a move on and get after Mike, who's currently leading this race. But it's Mike Gaming leading by just under a second at the moment, ahead of Ryan Ruby. There is Cobb running in 3rd place in the final podium spot. There's Matt Darves, who's running in 4th place. He's made the most of the incidents going on in front of him, and has managed to gain a few places here. He's got John Boy right on the back of him, as these two 4 seconds off for the race leader Mike Gaming at the moment. But coming down the start finish straight, it's Mike Gaming still your leader by just under a second ahead of Ryan. Can Ryan take the fight to Mike? Can he keep him on his toes a little bit? Obviously John Boy running in P5 will be hoping that Ryan can keep Mike honest in this sprint race and not allow Mike to just disappear off into the distance here. But John Boy is currently on the back of Cobb and Matt Darves as they're coming out onto the back straight once again to jump on board with John Boy as he's made the move there on Matt Darves as they're side by side down towards the Parabolica. Matt Darves didn't fight that one too hard. As you can see, Cobb is slowing down a bit there, down in a straight line down towards the Parabolica. Now Matt Darves looking to the inside. Is he going to send one here into the Parabolica? No, he doesn't. John Boy just going really late on the brakes there. Massive lock up from John Boy. Is that going to give Matt Darves a run? Coming out onto the start finish straight. Matt Darves got a much better exit out of the Parabolica. What can John Boy do here? Cobb's running just behind these guys. You can see a bit of a gap back to Aussie running in 7th place. He's side by side with Smoky Devil as these guys are coming up towards the start finish line. But let's go back to this man here who's currently second in the championship, 29 points adrift of the championship leader Mike, who also happens to be leading this race as John Boy is now trying desperately to get something done here. Matt Darves giving him a good fight for this final podium spot. Can John Boy keep it around the outside? Matt Darves being a bit aggressive there, pushing him ever so wide. Matt Darves keeping onto that podium spot just about. As in the background, Aussie Albie on 2 wheels there, and Jay also, no sorry, Smokey it was who went into the wall. Jay in between those two running in 7th place. But let's go back to this because currently John Boy losing time to the leader Mike Gaming at the moment. He's 5 seconds now behind the leader. He's almost lost out to Cobb there. He's gone wide coming through the Parabolica. He just needs to get his head together here, just John Boy. Still a long way left to go in this race. 5-6 seconds. It's not unassailable, but at this point it looks like Ryan isn't able to keep up with Mike Gaming. So whatever's going on with Ryan in this situation, obviously driving as a late standing, or not, well, he's kind of entered the championship in the later stages of this season, I would say, but he's not an official driver in this championship, but he's currently Mike Gaming's closest contender here in this sprint race, and it's not really gone to plan so far for him. Mike Gaming opening up a bit of a gap here. 2 seconds he's got over Ryan Ruby. You've got Matt Darves there running in the final podium spot. John Boy there in 4th place has got about just over a second to Cobb at the moment, and then you've got Jay, Aussie, Smokey, Part Pooper, the Connor there running in 10th ahead of Charlie, followed by Ray's Fader, who's running a little way off the back of them in 12th place. Charlie Goff also a lap down, so Charlie and Ray's Fader have both had damage in this race, which has just kind of dropped him well off of everybody else so far. Charlie not quite a lap down, but he is nearly a lap down. In fact, no, he is a lap down. He is a lap down. So yeah, he is actually a lap down. But Mike, you're race leader by 2 seconds ahead of Ryan. You've got Matt Darves, who's got John Boy now really hassling him. This is going to be a bit of round 2 here between these guys. We saw them going toe-to-toe a couple of laps ago, and now John Boy's got back onto the rear of Matt Darves. Has Cobb got a bit of damage? He's just dropped out of that battle a little bit here. He's about a couple of seconds behind Matt Darves and John Boy at this point, as Aussie Albie's lost out to Jay. Jay's up into 6th, or was that already done? Was it Aussie moving ahead of Smokey maybe? I'm not sure. Nonetheless, I definitely saw a change on the timing board, but at the moment John Boy has managed to make the move on Matt Darves up into 3rd, but he just needs to hold it. He seems to be struggling through the Parabolica over the course of this race so far. We've seen John Boy make a couple of mistakes through that part of the track. He just needs to keep his cool here. He's not ridiculously far behind Mike at this point, and obviously it's a short lap at Monza short. We're probably going to have about, I'd say, 15 laps left in this race. So, John Boy just needs to keep his calm, keep cool, because, 6 seconds, he just needs to chip away at Mike's lead. I know it's going to be hard. Obviously, Ryan doesn't seem to be able to keep up with Mike at the moment, but it's a long way to go. And obviously, if John Boy can catch up to Ryan, they might be able to slipstream each other and potentially close up onto Mike. Who knows what those two might be able to do if they're able to work together. That could bring John Boy back into this race. But right now, Mike Gaming looking very good here for the Clio Cup. Obviously, it's his second full season in the Clio Cup here at Motive. He raced last season. He came 3rd in the championship in the end. It was a battle between John Boy and Jay for the championship last season. Those two were the runaway sort of like championship protagonists, and it was John Boy who won the championship. He is the reigning champion, looking to try and retain his title tonight. It'd be a second Clio Cup crown if he can, but it's looking like it's very much advantage Mike Gaming at the moment, and Mike was really the young pretender in these Clios. Last season, as I said before, he wasn't really on the level of John Boy and Jay, but he's really stepped it up this season. Has been taking consistent victories. He's taken he's taken at least 2 double wins so far this season, as he's taken the clean sweep of sprint and feature races. So he's been on absolutely superb form over the course of season 11, and as I said, he's looking in very good nick at this point. But John Boy is closing the gap over the course of this lap, I think, maybe slightly. Keep an eye on the timing board. Let's see what Mike does as he comes over the line. It's a 55.6 from Mike, so not as good that time around. Ryan a 56 dead, and John Boy a 55.3. So John Boy gained 3/10 on Mike. That's not going to be enough for him, not by any stretch. He needs to really be picking up the pace considerably more if he is to have a chance of winning this race. But you know, it's little steps at the moment, and obviously anything can happen over the course of the next 11 minutes. So it's, you know, it's still plenty of time here for John Boy to do something. But it doesn't look like Mike. It doesn't look like Ryan has got the pace of Mike at this point. So Ryan is now dropping into the clutches of John Boy, and I wonder now whether we're going to be seeing a bit of teamwork going on, maybe between Ryan and John Boy. But to be fair, I don't think Ryan's really got the pace. So if John Boy tries to use Ryan to his benefit, I think he might end up being a bit disappointed, because I don't think, you know, that's no slight on Ryan, by the way, because Ryan joined this championship late in the season. He hasn't had the running that these other guys have had over the course of this season. He's done a fantastic job to be in second place, to be in a podium spot with the amount of running he's had is superb. You know, can't knock the guy. He's obviously an admin here at Motive, one of our staff team. He commentated with me on Project Cars 2 last season. This season he's had a few personal issues which he's had to see to, but he's back now, and he's been back for the last couple of weeks, and he's racing at the moment. But obviously joined me in the commentary box last season. He's been a voice. He's been one of the voices of Motive Racing over the recent times, and it's great to see him enjoying himself out on track, getting his teeth stuck into some action. He's currently got last season's Clio Cup champion pulling up onto the back of him here, and John Boy will be wanting to clear Ryan as quickly as he can, because he's currently on a bit of a roll right now. He's been taking a little bit of time out of Mike over these last couple of laps. Let's see what the gap is in terms of the split times there. So John Boy was 6/10 quicker on that lap, and he makes the move there. Clinical there from John Boy down the inside into turn one. Did not hang around there, was not waiting for anybody, and John Boy there into second place. Knew that he needed to get it done quickly, otherwise he was going to be losing more and more time to Mike. The gap's just under 6 seconds, so he has been gaining over the last couple of laps. As I said, 6/10 on the previous lap. Let's see what he can do on this lap. He would have had to take a tighter line through turn one, having to overtake Ryan, which might have just cost him a couple of tenths, but even so, on this lap so far, he's got the gap at about 5 seconds. So John Boy definitely with the momentum at this point, and he's just going to be pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and really ragging that Clio around Monza short here at the moment. He's bringing the gap down bit by bit. He's got a bit of traffic just up ahead of him here. I think that's Raid's Fader there. It is Raid's Fader. That's Mike, actually, ironically, Mike Gaming's teammate there, who's just up the road from him. Well, I say teammate, they're running in the same livery, same number even, blimey. But yeah, it's currently John Boy. Definitely he's making some good progress here at this point, and it's just dipping under 5 seconds. It's going, and it's going up to 6 again. You know, it's just ebbing and flowing as it does. As you all know, the timing board on Project Cars 2, it changes based on where you are on the track and at what speed the cars are going. But yeah, as a general rule, at the moment, John Boy definitely bringing that gap down. It almost creeps under 5 seconds there as they come into the Parabolica. Not quite though. But John Boy hasn't. John Boy hasn't really had a sparring partner in this race, because I'd say the driver who's probably most capable of matching John Boy's pace would probably be this man here, Jay. Jay, obviously the runner-up in the Clio Cup last season here at Motive. He's running in P5 at the moment. Now let's see what he can do, but he's a little way behind John Boy, so I don't think he's going to be able to help John Boy out much here in this one. John Boy though doing a good job by himself, gained another 4 tenths on Mike on that last lap. Now let's see what he can do this time around. They've just got Raid's Fader in front of him, so Raid's Fader moves off to the side and lets him through. Now John Boy's gonna have John Boy's ahead of he's just got ahead of Raid's Fader, and Ryan's got through ahead of him as well. So John Boy in some clean air. The gap as he comes into Parabolica, 4.8. So John Boy seems to have taken another couple of tenths out of Mike Gaming on this lap so far. So So yeah, he's just continuing to chip away a little bit by bit, but this time around probably not as much. In fact, he lost half a second on that last lap. So John Boy with a poor run coming through the Parabolica. Gap 5.5 seconds once again. But we've still got 7.5 laps in this race, so it's not over by any means. And you know, one little mistake from Mike. You know, if Mike could have a dip a wheel onto the grass or something, you know, it's certainly not done and dusted yet. Mike definitely got a bit of a, didn't get a great run there through the Parabolica, I've got to say, either. So that might give John Boy a chance to maybe gain a little bit of time coming down the start-finish straight. So Mike coming over the line here. So it's a 55.4 there from Mike. Oh God, don't want to do that. John Boy over the line. What is it going to be from him? A 55.2. So again, a couple of tenths being gained here and there. John Boy just needs to be consistently putting together these faster lap times here. We know he's got the pace. He's got the potential. He's got it underneath him. Can he string it together? That's I suppose the main question at this point. But the laps are winding down and time will be running out. Gap 5 seconds once again. These two matching each other's every lap time at the moment. It's not going up, it's not going down. Unfortunately for John Boy, he's just not making the gains that he needs in this race. Mike coming over the line. It's a 55.2 there from Mike. John Boy over the line. What is it from John Boy? It's a 55.3. So Mike's slightly quicker on that last lap. Ryan is into the pits. So I don't know what's gone on here with Ryan, but he's coming in at the end of lap 16. So that's a bit bizarre there. Oh, did he get a drive through maybe for a jump start potentially? Because he got quite a flying start. He was into second. I think he started fourth on the grid, so he's come in and he's got some repairs done, or not repairs, he's essentially done his drive through to give back the time he gained off the start. Obviously he would have probably not gained as much as he's lost through the drive through at the start, but as is the game, obviously it penalises you more than what you actually gain. You obviously get penalised for the error itself on top of what you gain from it. But Mike Gaming still leading 55.3 from Mike last time around. John Boy over the line, also a 55.3, gaining a little bit, but just not enough. And I said it before, John Boy needs Mike to dip a wheel onto the grass. But at this point, as it stands here in this race, the gap in the championship, obviously excluding fastest laps at this stage, will be 34 points. So the gap once again just staying at around 5.5 seconds between the two championship protagonists. 34 points we believe will be the gap between these two going into the feature race. Still anything can happen, you know, you look at the gap and you think 34 points could be unassailable for John Boy, but as I said before, all it takes is for Mike to have an incident on the first lap, get a bit of damage or something, and you know it could all be very much up in the air again. It's never over until it's over. John Boy knows that. He's been in this situation before. He's been in championship deciders. He's won 2 touring car championships here at Motive. He's also won the Clio Cup last season. He is the reigning champion at the moment, but for how much longer, that is the question. He will still be in the hunt going into the feature race, as we've said. You get 51 points for a race win and the fastest lap, so even after this round it would still be, as it stands, it'd be 34 points, so John Boy's still with a mathematical chance going into the feature race, but potentially seeing his championship crown slipping away bit by bit at the moment. And very much advantage this man here, Mike Gaming, who will be starting his penultimate lap in a few moments. We're just coming down the back straight, so we've got 2 and a bit laps left to go. And what a performance it's been from My Gaming so far. John Boy's been matching him at points. They've been very even over the course of this race. John Boy's gained about half a second on this lap so far, so I wonder if Mike's just had a bit of a moment. So 56.2 there from Mike, so he just had a bit of a scruffy lap, but it looks like he's holding it together. Just needs to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes in these final 2 laps. He's just got to bring it through the Ascari here, and once again down towards the Parabolica. So over the line here, My Gaming will be about to start the final lap of the race here at Monza Short for the Clio Cup at Motive. Season 11. Obviously this is the sprint race. He'll be extending his gap by quite a bit to John Boy in the championship. So the gap will be 34 points if Mike can just bring it around this final lap and John Boy can hold on to second place. And then the permutations would be, all My Gaming would need to take the championship would be a 9th place finish in the feature race. Obviously barring fastest laps, which we're not sure of yet. We're going to find out pretty shortly what the situation is with fastest laps, and then we'll be able to give you some idea. But My Gaming on the exit of the Parabolica here, he's coming out onto the start finish straight at the Autodromo di Nacional Monza, and it's going to be first blood here to the championship leader. He's been pretty much in the control of this championship since the start of the season. John Boy's had a late resurgence last week at Nürburgring, taking points off of him, but My Gaming with the victory here in the sprint race here, and what a start to his evening. John Boy takes second place, last season's champion, holding on to his slim title hopes here. Matt Darves coming over to complete the podium, and what a drive from Matt Darves. Well done to you, mate. What a drive as a reserve. Fair play. Very much understated there, but well done to you. Jay comes over in 4th place. Pop Pooper Rex finishes in P5 with Smoky Devil, who's going to finish in 6th place. Ryan comes over the line in 7th. Cobb's going to finish this one in 8th place in the end, with Connor, who's just coming up towards the line now, to finish in 9th. And then it's going to be Ozzy Albie in P10, and Ozzy Albie the last driver on the lead lap. The other 2 there were unfortunately a lap down due to having to undergo damage repairs in the first part of the race. But that is your sprint race. Charlie Goff and Raids Fader, classified in 11th and 12th places, will pick up points for their troubles. And guys, we'll be back very, very shortly for the feature race. We'll have a reverse grid based on the results from the sprint race. And this championship's still on the line at the moment, but My Gaming only needs a 9th place finish in the feature race to take home the title. Obviously, that's barring fastest laps. Let me just check the fastest lap. Actually, John Boy did get the fastest lap. So the gap 33 points. So if John Boy were to take the feature race win and the fastest lap, then Mike would need 8th place. So changes a little bit. Mike Gaming needs a P8 in the feature race to take the championship. P8 or better for Mike and his champion, but P9 might not do it for him depending on what John Boy is able to do in the feature race. But stay tuned, guys, we'll be back very, very shortly for the feature race. Mike, you need 8th place to get the championship. P8 is what you need.
Because he's been in this scenario a lot, I think.
It'll be.
Yeah, Mike, you need P8 to win the championship.
Okay.
No problem. I reckon you should come P7.
If that happens, I just feel bad for you. I don't know why, but if that just happens.
No, I'll finish P8.
Right. Do I need to keep myself onto my roof or?
Oh, yeah, I've done that before.
Yeah, what's that all about?
No, there's no fury.
What's all that about? About jumping on his roof?
Yeah, it was in the course already. That was just say Jumbo rolled twice in 2 races.
Oh, nice.
Battling for the lead as well.
Because of the, yeah, battling for the lead because of the same person.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well then. Go on then.
Do you want it longer or something? What the hell, mate?
Go on then. 40 laps then. Go on. Final race of the season.
Come on!
Go on!
Who said it? Who said it?
45.
Who said that? Ryan?
Just 40.
No?
Let's do 40. 40's enough. 40's enough.
Yeah, 40.
But we're going to end up with only like 38 minutes of racing.
Right, 5-minute practice. I'm going to ping you boys a party invite. Top 3.
I don't think Mike will, like, what's my position?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for the final race of the Clio Cup for Season 11 here on Project Cars 2 Automotive on the PlayStation 4 and 5 platforms. And we are currently in the 5-minute practice session before the start of the feature race, the reverse grid as usual. We've got both championship contenders in the party chat with us right now. Hopefully you'll be able to hear John Boy on the mic, but obviously with the result from the first race of the night, the championship standings are that Mike Gaming leads by 33 points over John Boy, with John Boy taking fastest lap, which means that Mike only needs an 8th place finish in the feature race to wrap up the title. John Boy, obviously we'll come to you first, mate, as your P2. In that race, a bit of a chaotic start for yourself. You seem to be caught up in an incident. I think it was with Jay and Cobb coming through the little S section. Just tell us what went on in the first couple of laps, and did that just set you back, basically? Yeah, it was one of those things where I could see you were catching up to Ryan, and I was wondering if maybe you and Ryan could work together. But I think Ryan just didn't seem to have the pace that I think you and Mike had, and unfortunately there wasn't really an option for you two to sort of work together and bring each other along. In terms of obviously the feature race, it's a reverse grid. I know that the gap's a big one, 33 points, but Mike needs P8. There's 11 cars on the track. Anything can happen. Do you think there's any chance at this point, or are you just going out to enjoy yourself? Well, thanks for jumping in with us, John Boy, and all the best for the feature race. And obviously, hope you have a good one. And if you don't retain the title, then at least give it everything. All the best. We've also got Mike in the chat as well, race winner from the sprint race a few moments ago, championship leader. He's had an absolutely barnstorming season here at Motive in both the Clio Cup and the Touring Cars. He's in contention for the Touring Car Championship on Thursdays. But first things first, let's handle business tonight. Mike, that couldn't have gone any better for you to start off tonight.
Yeah, it was a great start. At the start I was overtaken by, I don't know exactly, I think Cobb and Jay and Ryan Ruby, I believe. And they just clashed into turn 1 and I just took advantage, dived down the inside of all of them. So lucky break for me there.
Yeah, definitely. You seem to sort of get away at the start. Ryan was kind of keeping you honest for the first couple of laps, and then I think you just kind of got into your flow a bit. Maybe he was struggling to maintain that pace, and I think you just sort of stretched away. Did you notice the gap to John Boy? Because at points he was bringing it down, or were you just managing the gap? Were you just kind of cruising and trying to bring it home? What was the game plan? Were you just sort of keeping it going?
Yeah, just cruising at home, managing gaps. At the last moment I thought he was gonna catch me, but it was just too late. He had the pace.
Yeah, he did. He seems to have some good pace in the end. In terms of the feature race, obviously you're starting at the back, P11. What's your game plan going to be in this one? Is it going to be trying to keep out of trouble, just make sure that you get the points needed? Because John Boy needs to get a win and fastest lap realistically to have any chance about getting you here. What are you going to be looking to do in this feature race mainly?
See how it goes. I know John Boy is starting in front of me, so I'm gonna follow him, see what he does, and just try and get to where I need to be.
Try and keep with him. Well, all the best, Mike, for this final feature race. Obviously, you've had a fantastic season on Project Cars 2 here. You were on the fringes of the top guys last season, but this season you've taken it to another level. So, well done to you. And whatever the result tonight, it's looking like it's looking very good for you. But whatever the case, I'm sure it's going to be a really job well done. Anyway, this season, and all the best for this feature race.
Thank you. I have fun commentating.
Thank you. So there you have the top two championship contenders here in this final race. Obviously Mike, the hot favourite for this one, but anything can happen. You never know what Monza short can throw up. It can be a very tricky beast, to say the least. But we've got 40 laps ahead of us here with a mandatory pit stop at some point throughout the race, but we're not 100% sure exactly when the drivers will be coming in and undertaking those mandatory stops. It's up to them. Literally, it's their choice as to when they make that. So we are going to see how that unfolds. There's no mandatory pit window, so to speak. It's literally just whenever they fancy it, they can just pop in and get it done and out of the way. So we shall see, but it'll be a reverse grid of the feature race, so everybody's going to be starting in the opposite way around from where they finished. We're missing Raid's Fader for the feature race, so that's a shame. He says, okay, let's not read that comment. We've got Archie in the comments saying, good luck guys, have a good race. Good luck guys, want to see a good clean race and no cost caps being breached. Yeah, let's hope that we don't find out a few months down the line that Mike has overspent and gone over his aero allocation or whatever. I mean, to be fair, there's not much you can really do with these cars, but I'm sure they've all been very well behaved this season. Emma saying, good luck guys, love the racing this season. Emma, other half of Aussie Albie, always supports us in the chat. One of our biggest fans here at Motive, and hopefully she'll be joining us again next season in the comments section, as well as the Albie, those two massive supporters here of the channel and everything that we do here with this community. We're also looking to try and bring one, maybe two extra nights on Project Cars 2 here at Motive on the PlayStation next season. We're thinking of maybe, well, we're definitely going to bring a league on Tuesdays. It's looking like it's going to be GT3 at the moment on Tuesdays. So we're bringing back the Clios obviously on Monday, GT3 on Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm not sure what we're going to be doing yet because the PS4 GT3 League on ACC has been a bit all over the place this season, to be honest. So we're not sure what we'll do with that. But Thursday we'll have the touring cars on as always, and yeah, we'll have plenty of action and lots of thrills and spills for you. But nonetheless, here we are then, we're racing, we're underway here as Charlie Goff leads us down towards turn one. Aussie Albie there in second place as you got Connor looking to the inside. Connor makes the move on Aussie Albie as he rides over the curve a bit there, and Aussie's going to try and keep it around the outside. Aussie there keeping on to P2. Connor might find himself vulnerable here as Ryan's trying to squeeze through as well. Can Ryan get up into the podium spots, keeping it around the outside of Connor there, up into third place. Ryan Ruby makes the move. Cobb there just behind ahead of Smokey, followed by Jake, Parp Hooper, Mike Gaming in eighth place ahead of Matt Darves, and John Boy down to the back has lost a couple of places here on this feature race first lap. But we've got Archie in the comments saying, I'm hoping I might be on track next season rather than in the comments. It'd be great to have you on track, Archie. You're more than welcome to join us. And obviously, it'd be good to have you on Project Cars because with ACC, I'm not really sure whether we're going to be I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not sure if we're going to keep continuing with the ACC GT3 League because the turnouts have been really bad this season. We've been struggling to even get 15 drivers on the grid this season, but nonetheless, you'll still get your fix on Project Cars too. But we've got currently Ryan is just trying to keep it at the inside of it. And Aussie Albie a bit sideways there in the background. There was a yellow car who seemed to be really out of shape there as they came through the corner. But they're all safe at the moment. And Mike Gaming is up into fifth place here at the end. Well, after a lap and a half of racing, he has made up 5 places here. John Boy has only made up 1 place. So Mike Gaming definitely has had the easier passage of the 2 contenders so far, but you never know what will happen. He's got 2 drivers battling out right in front of him, Aussie Albie and Connor side by side into the Parabolica, as Connor just pushing Aussie Albie a little bit wide there. Mike Gaming those move through up into third place ahead of both of them there as somebody's wide on the exit of the Parabolica. Cobb there was ever so out of shape there coming out onto the runoff as they came out onto the start finish straight. Charlie they're leading the race by just a second and a half at the moment, so he's pulling away a bit from Ryan, and Ryan's got Mike Gaming now within half a second of him as they're coming into turn one. Mike Gaming up into third place here in the early stage of this race as John Boy has got a bit deep. Has he made a mistake there? No, he's got ahead of Smokey up into ninth place. Mike Gaming though is only about a second ahead of John Boy. The pack is so tightly bunched here. There's nothing separating these boys from third all the way down to 10th place or even 11th place. There's 2 seconds separating them. It's so tight at the moment. Charlie's trying to break away, trying to put as much space as he can between himself and the leaders while he can. Ryan, Mike, Cobb, Jay, Park Pooper, John Boy, Smokey, Matt, Aussie and Connor running at the back in P11 in this race right now. Charlie ever so wide there as he came out of the last corner, really getting the Parabolica all wrong. But continuing on their way at the moment as there's just over a second separating Charlie and Ryan at this point. There's a flash of the lights there from Mike Gaming trying to put Ryan off a little bit here. Ryan will be watching his mirrors here as Mike's looking to the inside. In the background, Jay is looking for a late lunge here on Cobb and he makes it stick into turn one. Jay up into 4th place. John Boy's now got ahead of a couple of drivers, Park Pooper and Aussie. He's now into 6th place, so John Boy's now starting to get ahead of steam a little bit in this one. You've got Charlie leading by just over a second. Ryan and Mike have both gained a bit on Charlie, and now Mike is looking to the inside of Ryan and could be about to take P2 here in this one. Can Ryan keep himself there? Jay is right on the back of these guys as well, so Jay's still very much with them and could pose a threat to Mike Gaming in this feature race. Ryan hasn't given this one up. He's still in the slipstream with Mike at the moment. Charlie ever so wide there out of the final corner, and that might give Mike a run, but he's 7/10 of a second behind, so he's probably not going to get him here. Ryan's got the run on Mike and is now looking to try and duck out of that slipstream if he can. In the background there, you've got Cobb all over the back of Jay as well, but Ryan is looking to try and get back on Mike as he's looking now to send one down the inside. Is he going to go for a lunge into turn 1? Ryan a bit late on the brakes. Does he get it stopped? He's gone to... Oh, Charlie's wide into the wall. Oh, and Jay almost caught up in it there. Oh, and there's a big crash there. And unfortunately there, looks as though one of them has just dropped well down to the back, but it wasn't Charlie. It was Charlie. Charlie was getting pushed around there. He's down to 5th place here. Mike Gaming now leads the race, but Jay's on the back of him within 7/10 of a second right now. We know how quick Jay is around this track. We saw it last time we raced here for the season opener last season of season 10. Cobb and Charlie separated by 2/10 as Charlie's looking to try and get back on him if he can. John Boy's got still keeping ahead of Aussie Albie at the moment, but these guys have dropped off of the leaders ever so slightly. Jay's trying to keep on Mike Gaming, but he's got Ryan in hot pursuit as they're coming down the start-finish straight. 5 of you currently watching the stream, guys, smash the like button if you're enjoying the stream. Right now, the championship decider here for the Clio Cup at Motive Racing. It's Mike Gaming who's currently got the lead and championship taking position. But what can Jay do? Can he keep him on his toes? Obviously, his mate John Boy is the other contender in this championship. John Boy and Charlie both in the pits at the end of lap 5. Now what sort of pit stop is John Boy going to get? It looks like a slow one. Doesn't look like he's up and off the jacks very quickly here to me. It looks like he's being held a bit and he's off and away now, but he's behind Charlie Goff, so John Boy needs his mate Jay to really give Mike a bit of a hard time here in this race. Mike's just keeping the gap at around 8/10 of a second. Jay's not letting him run off, and Ryan, to be fair, sticking to the task here with Jay. He's keeping to the back of Jay quite resolutely at the moment as these guys have just gapped Cobb by just over a second here. Aussie and Connor still battling it out over 5th and 6th places. You've got Smokey there's just behind them ahead of Park Pooper, Charlie, John Boy, who have all pitted, and obviously Matt Darves is running well off of them here. I don't know what's happened to Matt Darves, but Matt Darves is a lap down on the leaders. He's well over a lap down, so yeah, I don't know what's happened there to Matt Darves. But nonetheless, it's Mike Gaming currently with a 7/10 of a second lead. Jay still keeping to back of him at the moment as Mike's weaving around a bit, trying to break the toe if he can. But Jay and Ryan have just gained a little bit on him over the course of this lap. So Mike's not really making the steps that it wants to be in terms of getting away from these guys behind him. I've got a comment coming in there from Chocolate Man. Hello, long time. Yeah, it has been. Chocolate Man, I remember you used to race in our GT3s, and I think did you race in our Clios as well, Tier 2? I think you might have done. I remember you from way back. I mean, must be about 2 years ago that you raced in, maybe, I don't know. Motive's been going for 2.5 years, and I think you were here in the early days of Motive. Can't remember when you were here, to be honest, but yeah, it was a quite a long time ago, to be honest. Oh yeah, they were. Well, it was, to be honest, it was in the height of COVID, wasn't it? So we had like 2 tiers. We had loads of people in the leagues. Oh my god, that was madness, wasn't it? But currently Mike's still leading the race ahead of Jay, and Ryan Ruby's just within 2 seconds of the race leader Mike at this point. You got Cobb running all by himself there in 4th place. He's not able to quite keep with the top 3 at this point. Connor, Aussie, Smokey running in a trio in the battle for P5. You got Park Pooper there's just ahead of 3 seconds clear of John Boy. Charlie, John Boy and Charlie battling over 9th and 10th places. Matt Darves still going P11 at this point. But yes, currently Mike still keeping Jay at bay. Jay's not really getting too close enough to him to be able to go for anything. Ryan there running just under 2 seconds off of the lead. Cobb there still P4, sorry, should I say. And we've got a move here coming into turn 1, as we could see there with Smokey just trying to get the move done there on a back marker. Yeah, Matt Darves just in the picture there. I thought that was a move for position, but it was obviously Matt Darves' lap car there. currently in that fold. But Jay's gained a bit on Mike over the course of this lap. He's gained another couple of tenths. He was a tenth quicker on the previous lap. I reckon he's going to be a couple of tenths quicker on this particular lap that they're on now, as they're coming out of the Parabolica once again, about to finish lap 10, quarter of the way through this race, and still only the 4 of them to have come into the pits. Is anybody going to come in at the end of this lap to make their pit stop? Doesn't look like it. Looks like they're all staying out for the time being, then trying to maximise the time that they spend in that slipstream, because that can really have benefits. But yeah, Chocolate Man, if you're up for getting back into Project Cars 2, we'll be starting a new season in the Clio Cup on Monday nights pretty soon. We're also going to be running GT3s on Tuesday nights and touring cars on Thursday nights. So yeah, if you fancy it, head over to www.motiveracing.com, check out the website. It's pretty much the same as it always has been, really. Not much has changed apart from the nights that we run certain events. But yeah, you definitely come along. We race on F1 still on Friday. That hasn't changed in terms of the day and the time that we race on that. Still 6:45 on a Friday. So yeah, not much has really changed around here, to be honest. It's kind of been the same for a couple of years now, to be honest. But Mike Gaming still your leader by 0.3 of a second ahead of Jay, as they're coming over the line to complete lap 11. They're a couple of seconds clear of Ryan. Chocolate Man is going to try wind up. My newborn son has made his debut, so that's why I've been busy. Oh, congratulations. That's brilliant. Well, congratulations to you, and I assume your partner. Well, obviously, it's understandable if you haven't really got the time to be able to be on the rig too much. But if you do get the chance, then by all means, you'd be most welcome to join back to the leagues. Anyway, we've got Connor just coming to the end of the pit, so he's made his pit stop, and he's now off and out once again. So he becomes the 5th driver to come into the pits. Park Hooper is currently the lead driver of the pit stop drivers, but John Boy has gained on him quite a bit on this lap, actually. He gained about nearly a second on him. John Boy's gone deep, though, coming into turn 1. That's just lost him a bit of time there on the back of Park Hooper. I can't remember how much time you lose in the pits. I think it's about 28 seconds here. So depending on sort of what Mike does, I think he'll come out way ahead of John Boy here. I will for sure. GT3 missed that league. Always pick the Nissan, the Godzilla. Do you know what, Chocolate Man? My standout memory of you was the incident. I don't know if you remember, but it was the incident turn 1 at Texas Road Course. I always remember this because it was one of the funniest moments I've ever seen in my life, and it was I think it was Darryl Exchanger was lapping you, and he just ended up he just tagged you into turn 1. I just remember looking at your car, just seeing you on your roof, and it was just the funniest part of it was the fact that I could see your rear wheels spinning as you were trying to get the car going. I just thought it was just the funniest thing. It was like you were desperately trying to get the car going, and I could see the wheels turning and the rear wheels spinning. I just lost it because it just looked like it was like a tortoise on it that had just been flipped onto its back or something. The wheels kept spinning. Yeah, it was funny, to be fair. But currently Mike Gaming and Jay separated by 0.7 of a second at the moment. They're just gradually increasing the gap over Cobb, who's running in 3rd place. Chocolate Man is also getting behind Cobb tonight, voicing his support in the chat for our man in 3rd place at the moment. He's just keeping Ryan at bay at this point, just under a second, currently separating those two. You got Smokey and Ozzy running pretty close at the moment as they're coming down towards the parabolic. You got Smokey on the inside there of Ozzy Albi as he's going to make the move into the parabolic there. Good, beautifully done. As you've still got John Boy battling with Park Hooper. There's for some reason, it is nearly bonfire night. Do you know what? I was just about to say, why are there fireworks going off? And then I remembered it's literally 2 weeks until bonfire night. Such a div. In fact, not even 2 weeks. It's like less than, it's like basically a week and a bit. How did I forget that? Why am I stupid? Nonetheless, though, Mike Gaming and Jay separated by 0.5 second at the moment. Cobb has got just under a second here to Ryan Ruby still. Smokey and Ozzy are battling over 5th and 6th at the moment, and then you've got obviously John Boy, who seems to have gapped Park Hooper a little bit now. Connor and Charlie are having a good little fight here for 9th and 10th places as well. 7 of you currently watching the stream. Guys, smash the like button if you're enjoying. Obviously, let us know in the chat who you think is going to take this championship. Mike Gaming with a sizable lead and has got track position over John Boy. It would take a monumental mess up now for Mike Gaming to lose this title. John Boy, the reigning champion, could be very shortly about to see his championship go, as Ryan is in the pits at the end of lap 15 to make his pit stop. So Ryan is ducking out of any potential battles that he was having with Cobb. Maybe go for the undercut. What can Cobb do? Can Cobb keep onto that position and go for that podium place here in this race? I did actually invite Matt Dart into the party at the end of the sprint race for the podium interviews, but I don't know whether it invited him, because I think it came up on my screen saying that one or more of the drivers couldn't be invited due to their privacy settings. So I don't know whether he was able to get in, but I did actually ping him an invite. But nonetheless, Matt, if you are sat there and you're offended at the fact that I didn't invite you, I did actually try, but I think it didn't let me do it. But future reference, guys, if anybody, you don't have to join the interviews. Obviously, it's just a nice little feature. Diabetic Lamb started doing them a couple of weeks ago, and I just thought to myself, well, seeing as we do a little 5-minute practice before the feature race, we might as well sort of just throw in an extra feature. It fills the gap. It's a chance for us to have a little chat with the drivers, adds a little bit of a backstory to the races, so it's not just a case of watching the guys drive around. You kind of you get a glimpse into the psyche of the guys out on track. You know what's at stake, what their feelings and what their emotions are in regards to the situation. They're not just like these robots out on track. They are genuine human beings. These people, we all race in the comfort of our own homes, whether that be in our bedrooms, our living rooms, our games rooms, our studies, or whatever. For me personally, I'm in my games room, and it's pretty decent. But yeah. Currently we've got Smokey on the back of Aussie. Smokey's looking to the inside, showing the inside to Aussie. Ryan's currently the leader of the pit stop drivers. Now this is interesting, right? Because obviously we saw Ryan was battling with Cobb. They were about 4 seconds off for the lead when Ryan came in. So Ryan's come out and he's battling with John Boy. Now, can these two maybe work together? Can they force the pace a bit and try and catch up to Mike and Jay? Jay's still hassling Mike, but hasn't actually passed him at all. There's been no lead changes between these two. Jay has just been keeping tabs with Mike over the course of this race. But I wonder if maybe Ryan and John Boy can just get together, work together a bit, and try and bring each other into this battle for the lead. They're only about a net 4 seconds off of the lead, I would say. You lose about 30 seconds in the pits, I believe, from what we've seen so far. I would say you lose about 30 seconds. So these two are not too far away from the lead. Obviously, we've still got 20 laps to go, so it's still a long way. And if these two are working together and Mike and Jay start battling, then it could change up quite quickly. I would say at this point it's very unlikely that Mike's going to not win the championship, but the battle for the race win, for sort of final pride, I guess, in this season, is certainly still very much on. John Boy looking to make the move. He's made the move down the inside of Ryan up into P5. Aussie Albie in the pits at the end of lap 18. He's now on his way out. Jay still in the back of Mike Gaming, just under half a second separating these two as they come in towards turn 1 for the 20th time. As Aussie Albie there, you see in the background, just coming into turn 1 now. Cobb still going, still P3, keeping the leaders honest. He's not allowed them to drive out of sight. But I think this season has just been a bit of damage limitation for Cobb, because obviously we all know he's had his injury. He had his quite a severe injury actually on his arm. Was in a cast for the first couple of weeks of the season, and I think it's just been gradually trying to nurse himself back up to full fitness. Has had to take a few weeks off work, so that's how bad it's been for him. But I think this season's just been about kind of nursing himself back to full fitness, and hopefully next season we'll be seeing the full blast of Cobb, the full talents and potential of this man, who is a former champion in the tier 2 of the GT3s, back when we had 2 tiers, because at one point we were all stuck at home due to this thing called COVID and lockdown. And back then we did actually have 2 tiers, and Cobb was the tier 2 champion of the GT3s. Took a few wins actually. I think he was up the top of the standings in the tier 1s as well for the GT3s. Back when we used to run a GT3 league on Project Cars 2 on Saturday nights. What a league that was! That was an event. That was the highlight of my week. I'm not even lying. Me and Dan used to commentate on both tiers. We used to get so many people watching that, man. It was insane. We had 2 full tiers. Oh, it was amazing. Those were the days. Those were the f***ing days. But yeah, Cobb was the champion of tier 2 and took a few wins in the top tier as well in the following season. I don't know what my point is really. Yeah, so basically he's a top tier driver. That's my point. So yeah, with a full health and a full season, I think that Cobb could definitely be a contender in the championship with Mike and Jay, and obviously John Boy as well. Jay hasn't had the season this season. It's been a very off season from this man, to be fair. It's not like him at all to have been as inconsistent as he has been, but I suppose we all have our off seasons, and you know, we all have periods where we're not operating at our best, and this has just been that. I think this has been that season for Jay. Season 11 has not been in any way how he would have wanted it to go, but nonetheless, I'm sure he'll be back fighting for season 12. We believe he's going to be entering the Touring Car Championship on a Thursdays. I'm not sure what else he's planning to enter at the moment, if any, but I think he's planning on definitely putting a lot of focus into the touring cars for next season. Jay, nonetheless, is into the pits at the end of lap 22. And Mike starts lap 23. Is just making a move to the inside of Smokey, who is a back marker there. And nicely done there. No dramas between those two then. Oh my god, we've got fireworks next door as well. Jesus Christ. Not even November yet, guys. Come on. But nonetheless, Jay is now on his way down to the end of the pit. Is that next door or is it a few doors? I can't even tell. Doesn't look like it's quite close. Yeah, I think it is. But anyway, so we have got Mike still leading this race by 6 seconds at the moment over Cobb. John Boy and Ryan still pretty close at the moment, as John Boy's just moved ahead of Ryan into turn 1. These two kind of just still continuing to pull each other along at this point. Oh wait, is it Diwali? Oh no, it can't be Diwali. It wouldn't even be. No, it wouldn't even be that. It wouldn't be them anyway. What am I talking about? No, it must be. I don't know why. There's fireworks everywhere tonight. Right. Anyway, Mike Gaming leads by 6.5 seconds over Cobb. Cobb's just dropping off of Mike a little bit over the last few laps. Jay, the highest runner of the pit stop drivers, he was obviously in a battle with Mike for the lead. He's come out 4 seconds ahead of John Boy and Ryan. So we were right in thinking that those two were about 4 seconds off of the lead. The question is, can Jay get the laps down? Can he get the jump on Mike? Maybe get the undercut here. We see Cobb coming into the pits here at the end of lap 24. 16 laps left to go, including the one we're currently on, and Mike Gaming out in front doing the business. Cobb in the pit box. Doesn't look like a particularly quick stop, but a solid one. Jay coming out of the parabolic, and now where's Cobb going to come out? I'll tell you what, Cobb could actually be quite close here. Cobb has actually done quite well in the pits here. Jay's coming over the start-finish line now. Cobb could be in the net lead here. How has this happened? Jay coming into turn 1. My mic's just fallen on the floor. Audio check, just checking to make sure I've still got the right mic configured. Yeah, we still got the right one. Sorry about that, guys. Right, so Mike and Jay separate by not much. Cobb, though, in terms of the actual net position, but Jay, for some reason, has come out with Cobb right behind him. So Cobb must have had a much shorter pit stop. I think a lot of the guys have had quite long pit stops when they've come in for the mandatory stop, and that's obviously cost them time. Cobb has gained about 5 seconds on Jay just through the pit window. These guys are 3 seconds clear of John Boy and Ryan, who are still battling out over 4th and 5th. But Cobb now potentially back in this battle for the lead, maybe, if he can stick with Jay. He dropped about 5 seconds on the top two over the course of the first 20 laps, but he seems now to have been thrown a bit of a lifeline here, as JR in the comments, audio check, or Audi check, it says. But yeah, you got to make sure that it's working still. But it seems to be all good at the moment. But these two, Jay and Cobb, might be working together now, potentially to bring the gap down to Mike a little bit. Who knows how this is going to play out? Anything can still happen. It would take something pretty unbelievable for Mike to lose the championship now, but the battle for the race win, I think, is still very much on. Cobb and Jay seem to be battling, so that will cost them a bit of time and maybe play into the hands of Mike. As we see John Boy looking around the outside here, trying to go the long way here on Cobb. Cobb though keeping it pinned to the inside, keeping on to that 3rd place. But John Boy's really gained a bit whilst these two have battled over the course of this lap. John Boy's now got the run here on Cobb coming down the start-finish straight. Can he make anything happen though, coming down towards turn 1, side by side here? John Boy has got a fair bit of his Clio alongside Cobb's. Down the inside he goes for the move, gets it perfectly turned in there, keeps it pinned to the inside, almost on the wall there on the right hand side, on the inside of the corner. John Boy up into 3rd place. Now he's released onto the back of Jay. Now the question is, Jay, John, Cobb and Ryan, can these 4 work together in the slipstream to close the gap to Mike? I think at this stage, as it stands, Mike will probably come out a couple of seconds ahead of them, but that's not what these guys need. They really need to be working together and using their pace, using their superior pace in the slipstream to their advantage. Are they going to do it, or are they going to trip over each other and be their own worst enemies? Mike's still out in front, still doing what he needs to do. End of lap 29. Got 11 laps to go in this race, in the feature race for this season here, for season 11 at Motive in the Clios. We see Mike coming out of the last corner out onto the start finish once again. Cobb's got ahead of Jay up into 3rd as they come through the little squirrely section there in the middle of the track. Cobb tucks in behind Jay for now. Ryan's just sitting on the back of them, not too eager to engage. He just wants to use the pace, use the slipstream from these guys ahead of him. John Boy currently setting the pace for these guys, and they are gaining on Mike a bit. They need to continue just doing what they're doing. John Boy out a bit wide there, coming out of the parabolica, but he's doing what he needs to do at the moment. That's all he can do, is just keep pushing. Mike last time a 55.6. I think John Boy's lap this time was a bit slower, as he comes over 56 dead. Yeah, not the lap for John Boy at all there. He needs to be doing, but needs to be going about a second quicker than that if he is to catch Mike. And Mike is in the pits. Mike Gaming, the race leader, the championship leader, the hot favourite in this final race, as he's being held in the box. There we go. He's away now, and he's well away. He is well away. Mike Gaming coming down to the end of the pit lane. The guys aren't even out of the parabolic yet. He's going to have a 10-second lead maybe in this race. I think it's done. I think that is it. Mike Gaming into turn 1. Let's see what the gap is. There's John Boy. Oh, the gap's over 10 seconds. It's over. And unless he makes a mistake, 8 seconds the gap between Mike and John Boy. Oh, I can't see them making that up. I can't see them. I can't see them getting that gap down in 10 laps. There's Mike. You see in the foreground. There is the four guys battling it out in the background. You got John Boy, Jay, Ryan, and Cobb. But I think it's way too much to overhaul. He's not going to be able to get. He's not going to be able to catch him in the 10 laps that remain. I don't think he's got a chance. He'll push all the way to the end, I'm sure of that, but I can't see him bringing that gap down. John Boy weaving around. Is he trying to break the toe, or is he just trying to make sure that he stays at the front of this train? Jay now pulling out of the slipstream. These guys are working together to try and maybe bring them into the fight for the win. John Boy crawling over the curb a bit there, coming through turn 1, moving across there, chopping across Ryan as Ryan's looking to the inside of Jay, and Ryan and Jay come together, and for the second time in as many seasons, Ryan and Jay have a collision at Monza Short, but in a different part of the track this time. On this occasion, it's through the squirrely middle part of the lap. Obviously, last time it was coming into the Parabolica, and Jay loses out, comes off way worse in that one. He's now well off for the battle for P2. Ryan's still there, still with these guys, still in the back of Cobb in that battle for the podium spot. John Boy's just gapped them by about a second, but Jay is going to be fuming with that one, I'm sure. He would not have took kindly to that in any way, shape or form, and that's just kind of put a nail in the battle that was going on for P2 there, which was looking to be a bit interesting. So into turn 1, Jay has now been passed by Charlie Goff, but Jay's managed to get back around the outside. Nazi, no he hasn't, he's gone deep, very deep. Park Pooper might fancy his chances here around the outside. He might have the inside coming out of Ascari. No, Jay keeps onto it for now. 5 of you currently watching the stream, guys, please smash the like button if you've enjoyed this season's coverage of the Clio Cup here at Motive on Project Cars 2. We're not done for this season just yet. We've still got the touring cars on Thursday night as well. And we've got the final race of the PS4 GT3 League on Wednesday, which will be at 7:30. Championship, I think, basically already wrapped up by Jazzman because Tynus won't be here. But Park Pooper's got the run here on Jay, and looking to the outside. Jay, though, sending one down the inside there of Charlie. Can he make it stick? I think he is going to. Lovely move there from Jay. After the inside for Ascari. Charlie, though, will try and get the cut back if he can. Jay goes a little bit wide. Charlie's going to get the run. Can he use the exit out of the corner? Charlie's got ahead of Jay. Now Park Pooper will be looking to try and do the same thing. And Park Pooper's also going to get Jay up the inside into the Parabolica there. Nicely done there from both of those two. Jay may be carrying a bit of damage from the collision that we saw with Ryan, though, as Cobb and Ryan still battling out over second and third. I don't know what's happened to John Boy, but he has lost out to both of those two and is now off of the well, he was already behind them, but yeah, he's lost out big time there, and he's now off of the podium. And your man currently leading this race, Mike Gaming, the championship leader, champion elect here of this Clio Cup. John Boy, the reigning champ. John Boy's, experienced at winning championship. He knows what it takes. He's a 2-time champion of the touring cars, last season's Clio Cup champion, and he's taken it to Mike this season. But Mike's improvement over this season has been absolutely insane. Jazzman, hello. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. I was just mentioning how the Wednesday PS4 League pretty much done, because Tynus won't be here on Wednesday, unfortunately, so that one's yours to lose. But yeah, Jazzman, good to see you. He's obviously a 3-time champion here at Motive, soon to be a 4-time champion. He's won the PS5 GT3 League, and he's also won the PS4 Sprint and the PS4 main GT3 leagues as well. So he could be a 4-time champion this Wednesday if he does manage to wrap up the PS4 Wednesday League. For the second time, it'd be a second time that he'd win the Wednesday GT3 League. He's won it once before. He's also won, as I said before, the Sprint League on a Sunday and the PS5 League also on a Sunday. So yeah, he's really got the credentials. And what has happened to Mike? What has happened to Mike Gaming? Mike Gaming has lost out to Cobb and Ryan. So has he dropped it somewhere? I was just responding to Jazzman's comment there, and I completely missed that. Mike Gaming, did he just drop off a bit? Maybe try to make a battle of it for the last couple of laps? Do you know what? I was even watching him and I just wasn't looking at the screen. I'm such a div. Yeah, he was. He just slowed down. He just slowed down so he could have a battle with them for the last couple of laps. But it's Cobb now leading ahead of Ryan. Mike now running in P3 as they're now slipstreaming each other down this back straight. Now Mike's got to do it the hard way after he was in cruise control before. John, we're running 4 seconds off of these guys in P4. Charlie, Part Pooper and Jay. Jay's dropped off of Charlie and Part Pooper with the damage on his car, not quite able to keep up with him at this point, unfortunately. Smokey only 15 seconds off of the lead, running in P8. Not bad after 37 laps of racing. Connor there in 9th place here in this race, with Aussie Albie still going in P10. Just under 30 seconds off of the lead. No drivers have been lapped in this feature race. We lost Matt Darves early on in the race, unfortunately. Jasmine in the comments says he reckons he's the champion already. He says the others can't catch me. Also, is that emotion meant to be a dab? It looks like it. It looks like you're dabbing. Anyway, Cobb over the line. 0.3 of a second currently between Cobb and Mike, and Ryan's still there. 3 about for the lead. Mike's obviously slowed down a bit to make a bit of a battle of it for the last couple of laps. He's now looking at the inside. Cobb trying to keep it there around the outside. Oh, these two so close. Cobb keeping onto it at the moment. Cobb would be obviously very grateful that he's being thrown a lifeline here and a potential to maybe win this feature race, the final race of season 11 for the Clio Cup. Ryan's still right on the back of these guys at the moment. John Boy's gained a bit on them over this last few laps. So here we go then, come down the start finish straight, about to start the final lap of the race. Your champion-elect Mike Gaming moves to the inside and takes the lead into turn 1. Cobb though trying to come back at him, Cobb trying to sneak his nose up the inside. Ryan there's waiting in the wings as he's now got a run here on Cobb. Cobb defending the inside, coming through Ascari. Mike Gaming though leading down the back straight here for the final time. What can Cobb do? Has he got the slipstream? Has he got a run? Mike Gaming got a much better exit out of Ascari and is pulling away, coming down towards the Parabolica. I think Mike Gaming should have this done unless Cobb can get a good run out of the Parabolica. Ryan still waiting, hoping, maybe praying that he might be able to get a good run coming out onto the start finish straight. Here they come, massive lock up there from Cobb, really stood around. He can't win the race now. Ryan might get a run on him. Mike Gaming though is going to come up towards the line, and he came into this with a pretty healthy lead in the championship. Mike Gaming has done everything right over the course of tonight. It's going to be a magnificent double here at Monza Short, and it's going to be his first ever championship at Motive Racing, and that is not how I wanted him to finish the season, but nonetheless, congratulations to Mike Gaming on a fantastic season. Your Clio Cup champion for season 11. Cobb takes second ahead of Ryan in third. John Boy, a valiant second place in the championship this season. Last season's champion. Couldn't quite make it happen this time around. Charlie got P5 in the feature race ahead of Part Pooper 6. Smokey Devil P7 ahead of Jay, who finished in 8th place in the end. Aussie Albie is going to come up towards the line. It's going to be 9th place here. Other half of Aussie Albie, Emma there in the chat saying she's looking forward to Thursday and next season. Always good, Emma. Always a pleasure to have you in the comments. And Connor came over in P10 to complete the classification. Obviously, we lost Matt Darves relatively early on in the race. But, ladies and gentlemen, that was fantastic. I loved that. I've loved every moment of this season, and indeed, the last couple of seasons. been great, and I'm so glad that we brought Project Cars 2 back, because the racing it's just it's on another level. I love it. Obviously, I hope that Archie will be joining us next season, because I don't think we're going to be carrying on the GT3 London ACC next season, just because the numbers haven't been there. We've been struggling to hit 15 drivers every week. It's just not been good enough for me. I don't think it's worth it. But then again, if you're getting a PS5 anytime soon, Archie, we're going to definitely be running PS5 leagues on Sundays. So, if you're planning on upgrading anytime soon, then keep your eye out for that. Obviously, Jazzman will be with us for that as well. But I'll be focusing on ACC PS5, I think, in the future. But hopefully see you on Project Cars too, if you're able to, Archie. But Mike Gaming, your champion for the Clio Cup for Season 11, in the end taking the win and the championship. And who got the fastest lap in the end? Not that it makes a huge amount of difference, but it was Cobb who gets the bonus point for fastest lap, so well done to him. We're going to get Cobb and Ryan into the chat, and obviously let's hope that Mike and John Boy are able to jump back in as well, because they're already members of this party chat. But let's grab Ryan and Cobb in for a quick chat to discuss that race. But what a season we've had here from the guys, and obviously well done to Mike Gaming on taking the championship. The improvement that he's made over this season has been absolutely seismic. So, when you take into account the fact that he was always kind of like on the fringes, but never quite challenging for the wins, and this season he's just taken it to the next level. We have got the podium drivers here in the chat with us at the moment. We're going to start with Ryan, our P3 man in that feature race. Ryan, we saw towards the end of the race, it looked like Mike slowed down a bit for you. You obviously were in the battle with John Boy at points as well. You and John Boy seem to be working together. Did you ever think at any point that you two might have been able to bring yourselves onto the back of Mike?
I mean, it was me, Cobb, John Boy, and Jay were all sort of bumper to bumper trying to catch up to Mike, and then Mike come out the pit lane with like 8-second gap. And then, unfortunately, he spun it with like 3 laps to go, lost focus and hit the wall. So that gave me and Cobb the fighting chance to catch up, and then it was just hell for leather towards the line for all 3 of us.
Yeah, it looked absolutely brilliant. I mean, it was edgy as heat stuff at the end of that race. To be honest, I kind of like just looked down for a second, and I looked up and Mike was slowing down, and I wondered if he'd just slowed down to make a race of it. And then I obviously, you say you hit the wall, right? I looked away at that point, so I wasn't sure. But nonetheless, I mean, it's a good thing that I think the battle came about naturally. But P3, obviously for yourself, you've joined this championship late in the season, so you kind of just been getting up to speed. These guys have all had the practice over the course of this season. Are you happy with P3, and do you think that bodes well? Are you planning on racing next season? And if so, do you reckon you're in with a chance against these lads?
It's always hard to say. I mean, we raced at Nürburgring last week, and it was me, Cobb, and Mike who were battling for the lead, basically the whole race. And we had such a good race there, and we've come to Monza, and it's been the exact same. I mean, it's a smaller track. You're more likely to have incidents because of how fast the track is. So it's 50-50 of like how it was. But when we was at Nürburgring, it was just bumper to bumper action the whole time. I mean, you even saw with like the snaking down the home straights there.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very slipstream orientated. Well, Ryan, obviously last season you were in the comms box, but this season you've taken back to the track. I'm not going to ask you which one you prefer, but obviously it's great to see you back out on the track again. Be great to see you back in the Clio Cup next season as well. And obviously for the viewers, obviously we're on the admin team. We've got a few little surprises which I've been hinting at over the course of tonight, with the potential for a Tuesday league. But yeah, we've got lots of things going on here, so we're looking forward to seeing you on track, and also for obviously the plans that we got in the pipeline. But well done on tonight, great job, and great battling. Really enjoyed seeing you out on track, mate.
Thanks, mate.
We've also got Cobb in the chat as well. Cobb, up and down race for yourself, but it all came good towards the end. Seemed like you had the lead in the last couple of laps. Did you think that you might have had Mike there right at the end?
well, I don't know if you had any damage, but obviously, like as you've seen, Mick's been incredible this season, so he's played really well. So sort of knew that if I got a little bit of a gap, but then obviously when I saw him coming back towards me on the straight, so so I was more trying not to take him out or anything like that. So, but yeah, no, I'm not unhappy. That was good. It was a good race. Enjoyed it. First one was a bit naff, but yeah, the second one was brilliant.
We saw obviously that you had did you have a moment with Jay at one point? I think it was you and Jay came together.
In the first race, yeah, we had a little coming together, but it's just one of those things, right? You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
No bad blood or anything like that. It was just
That's good. Obviously, P2 for you, you came into this season with an injury, and I know you've been playing it down and saying it hasn't. You driving one-handed at the start of the season, but is there any chance that might have had a bit of a factor in this season? And if so, do you take more confidence in that, knowing that maybe if that's held you back, then it could potentially be less of an issue and maybe give you a chance to fight for the title next season?
well, I mean, maybe slightly, but I think especially for the Clios where they're slightly slower, manoeuvring them a little bit of one hand is a bit easier.
Yeah, true.
Two hands make a big difference. So it'd be nice to come into next season with all my limbs working.
Definitely. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do because you've made really well of what you've got this season and some great battling all season round as well. So yeah, looking forward to that, Cobb, and congrats on tonight at P2.
Yeah, thanks very much. Just for saying, well done to make really good championship and obviously John Boy right too, and everyone else as well.
Excellent stuff. I think have we got John Boy in?
Yep.
John Boy, last season's champion. Obviously, you took it to the wire last race of the season, but it just didn't quite work out in the end. At the start of the feature race, it just seemed like it was all up against you from the start. It seemed like everything that could have gone wrong. It was just falling into place.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? That's motorsport, isn't it? That's racing. Obviously, that's not taking anything away from Make. He's done a great job all season. He's been, doing really good job of winning races, getting fastest laps, and just basically making the best of his situations. Likewise, so have I to be second, but he just had the edge on me this year. So we'll see what happens in the next season. I'd like to be against him again to sort of get a bit of recurrence, but yeah, we'll see.
Do you feel like the tracks maybe this season have not been your sort of tracks? I mean, obviously we've seen in past seasons you've always been up there, and you've been up there this season as well. Do you reckon maybe with a different selection of tracks, it could maybe swing back in your favour, or do you reckon that's a factor at all?
I mean, variety's the spice of life, they say. So it's nice to have some different tracks on the calendar. I don't think it's played a part in it. I think, like I say, generally Mike's just had the upper hand on me all season. So it's just, I haven't really made the best of all my situations. I caught up in this last round 2 times. I got caught in both races in incidents that normally I'm pretty vigilant of, but because I was so aggressive and knew what I needed to do, I sort of took the opportunity to just keep my foot in, and it didn't play out. So
chasing the situation, yeah, I know how you feel on that one. Definitely been in that situation before. Well, John Boy, great season from yourself. You pushed it all the way to the end. Mike's been on some unbelievable form this season, and to be fair, I think a lot of things have gone his way, so to have kept him on his toes all the way up until that point, fantastic job. And we can't wait to see if you're able to maybe go one better next season again.
Yeah, well, like I say, congratulations to Mike, and I'll be giving it all my all.
Definitely so. Well done on a very impressive season, John Boy. And we can't wait to see you in the next one.
Yeah, cheers also to the organisers who obviously make this available and thoroughly enjoy this social event on a Tuesday evening and a Thursday for the touring cars. So thank you very much.
That's my pleasure. We've also got Mike Gaming, your champion of the Clio Cup for this season. His first championship at Motive. What an improvement! What steps he has made from last season to this season. When it comes to drivers taking it to the next level, Mike has truly done that, both on Mondays and on Thursday nights. We've still got Thursday to go. Could it be the double? But nonetheless, you've got one half of it. Mike Gaming, Clio Cup champion at Motive Racing for season 11. How does that feel?
Great, absolutely awesome. The racing, the close fights, the little ups, little downs, amazing. Just love it.
Obviously, you've been so consistent this season. You've taken double wins. You've been the dominant force around so many circuits. I've seen your pace up close and personal a couple of times. I managed to get into a couple of races this season, and how competitive you are, and how clean and how fair, but how uncompromising you are out on track. It really is fantastic to behold. In terms of John Boy this season, how close has he pushed you this season? How difficult is it to go up against him? Because I know the answer as well, but is it a case of, did you feel like at points like this could have got away from you?
At some points I did, because he just did not give anything away about his position, his standings, his overall pace. He just comes in the race and just shows it to you. No exception, no rounds. It was just, you cannot predict how fast he's gonna be, but you know he's up there somewhere. So. Always
sandbagging, always jumping in the practice sessions at the end. I know what you mean. But yeah, I've really enjoyed watching this season. Obviously from the sidelines, most of it, but just seeing the steps that you've made this season, and knowing how much you're improving. I know obviously you used to race with us on the GT3s way back in the day, but until recently hadn't really seen you in the front wheel drive cars. Can I ask, was last season in the Clios, was that your first season racing competitive in the Clios, or had you done it before?
That was my first season actually competitive. And
first season?
It was just learning the ropes about front wheel drive, the Clio Cup and all, and then just try and get better at it. And this is the result.
Well, last season, Mike Gaming's first season in a competitive Clio Cup season, he came P3 in the championship. He goes 2 better in season 11 and P1. Mike Gaming, what a season from yourself. It's been fantastic to watch, and I wanted to congratulate you on a real season. Well done. And obviously going into Thursday, I want to ask you, touring cars, you've got a big lead in that one as well. How are you feeling going into that one? Obviously Jay needs some kind of miracle there. Are you just looking to keep calm? Are you not looking too much into the standings? How are you feeling about that one?
Keeping it cool. I know Jay has got some awesome pace at that track, so I'm in for a treat, let's say it like that.
Yeah, I think Jay, you're right. Jay's not going to give up until the end, for sure. Well, we're looking forward to that. We can't wait for Thursday night, guys. If you are tuning in right now and you want to check it out, we'll be live at the same time on Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. UK time, for the finale of the Touring Cars. Mike Gaming, your Clio Cup champion, will be trying to make it the double on Project Cars 2 for season 11. Obviously only running 2 championships on Project Cars 2, so it would be a clean sweep if Mike were able to do it, but we'll find out then. But I want to say once again a huge congratulations to Mike Gaming on the championship. Well done, obviously, to John Boy on being the runner-up for this season. I think Cobb in the end taking home 3rd place in the championship. But yeah, I want to say once again a big thank you to everyone who's taken part in the Clio Cup this season, to everybody who's commented, and we will see you very, very soon. Thursday night we'll be back on for the Touring Cars for the Project Cars 2 season to conclude. We'll see you all very soon. Have a great evening, and we'll see you later.